Swin territory here, Kilios. As you said, no subs for this lineup. These are lineups they're going to have to persist with. They need to get confidence on both sides, and whatever you say about their previous opposition, both teams look at this fixture and mark it on the calendar and say, this needs to be the start of something, otherwise it could just be another step towards inevitable crashing and burning for both lineups.
Yep. Definitely looking like a set that could go the distance and take us to all 3 games. Depending on which MVP shows up, is this going to be the MVP that we've seen through the majority of their games, or is this going to be the MVP that took down a Freak of Freaks? That is the question. Kongdoo, can they harken back? Can they find that potential that they had built up when they played at IM Gyeonggi?
And I look to the jungle, Kilios. Both these junglers came in with hype this season and have underperformed. Both of them are young junglers who can impress. Beyond and Punch both have lanes they can gank for, and I feel like whichever jungler gets the fast start will probably propel his team to victory.
All right, well, we'll see if it's going to be the Elise or the Graves. We'll definitely keep our eyes on that, as well as these mid laners. Edge and Ian have faced off many a time in the past, and they find themselves back on Summoner's Rift yet again. So this one for all the marbles, maybe not all the marbles, but for playing, you're playing for actually having some marbles, I guess you could say.
Not many marbles between these two teams,
yeah,
Kilios.
Loser of this game has no marbles.
Oh boy.
All right, let's go ahead, get on to Summoner's Rift for Game 1, MVP versus Kongdoo Monster. CS hasn't been last sitting very well.
Edge?
Oh, that's going to be the Unleashed Power, but not able to come up with a kill. Edge goes really low. They get the flash out of him for the Ghost of Ian.
That was definitely one where it could have been a kill because Edge isn't going for a rush on Abyssal Scepter. He seems to be subscribing to the Crown School of Thought and going for the Hextech GLP rush on that Taliyah. Isn't spotted at all.
He's moving in. It's going to be a lockdown from the Maelstrom here. Flash away by Roach. Ian has the ultimate. Does he go for it? Yes, he does. And they're able to take that one away. But ADD's going to go down the turret. Swapping aggro. Ian needed to take one more shot of that for them both to make it out safely. Doesn't do so. They get the first blood, but an answering kill comes through from Roach.
Yeah, clean kill would have been really good.
Takes into the wall for the instant pop. Punch takes a little bit of damage on the back end, but otherwise it's pretty healthy. Now Ian in a bad spot, flashes over to try to dodge the seismic jump, but it hasn't even come out yet from Edge, and won't really even be needed. He goes down. Now Ash Arrow coming through. Good repel from Beyond to make sure he doesn't get hit, as Max will take that one. MVP, they'll lose Ian. Almost get Edge, but the Dragon looks like that will be going over to Kongdoo yet again.
Yeah, their 4-man unit is much stronger than MVP's because Taliyah will always have the roaming advantage. You know, Ian was just caught in transition, and Graves, at this point in the game, is a lot more powerful than Elise. Elise, sure, if she gets the drop, can burst. But if she ends up taking any damage from Punch, he has close to kill pressure just by his lonesome. They get out of lane faster with the Karma.
And then it got stolen away by a deadly flourish at the end, but now Roach, oh, he flashes, but he goes straight into the cocoon. He gets locked down, throws out the equalizer to try to clear the wave. They'll be able to do so. But MVP, they'll still be able to exit quite safely.
Control around Baron, no wards here. They see the teleport, they know what's happening here, Kongdoo, but can they do anything to stop it?
It's going to be the question here. Weaver's Wall gets thrown out, locking them all inside the pit, but can Kongdoo Monster follow
Punch
up?
is here.
Come up with a kill, he goes into the pit, but he's not going to find the kill on the Baron. Beyond takes it away, now flashing over the wall, ADD jumping on top of Edge, the piercing arrow from inside the pit, enough to take out the Taliyah. And Max, with all of his CC, plus the cocoon from Beyond, helps take down Googer 3-0, plus a Baron. MVP just exploded into a massive lead. MVP side with the dredge line. Well, ADD just chunking out Roach. Edge gets locked up, and he will go down. Maha comes up with a kill. Roach underneath the turrets gets himself into the Zonias, will stay alive for now. But the first inhibitor falls, and the second one is going to follow suit. This could just be the Nexus turrets going down as well if MVP really went committed for this. Several members are getting chunked out, so they might just peel back. Looks like that's going to be the call. But 2 inhibitors picked up a plethora of turrets in the end, and that's one hell of a Baron power play for MVP.
Yeah. In the base of Kongdoo Monster, looking for that third and final inhibitor.
There's the arrows coming through, chunking out Googer and Edge yet again. Redemption thrown down by MVP to get that big heal burst back up. And the third inhib should be falling. Edge has the Weaver's Wall, but doesn't really have a place to toss it out to cut off MVP to isolate somebody so that they can find a kill. And this should just be them losing the game right here. One final wave of super creeps coming in. Kongdoo Monster definitely trying to clear this out. Beyond comes down from the rappel. He is quite low, has to flash away from Soul, who's still hammering out the damage with those flurries of arrows. And Edge, oh boy, gets the shield from Googer at the last second to really help keep him alive. And
I think the Graves was fine from Punch. The start was
Sure,
good for
he had
Kongdoo.
a really good start.
I feel like we haven't seen a team look this resigned to defeat since Spenu in summer of 2015, which is saying a lot. ADD is probably going to trade his life here.
Yeah, trades his life, but the Baron goes over to MVP guaranteed. So you make that trade 10 times out of 10. If you're MVP, they still have pressure. There's still 3 inhibitors down, to the bottom one should be respawning alongside the mid in just a little bit of time. But MVP, they're in a perfect position to just shove back in, take those inhibs again, and end the game with the Nexus.
Kongdoo, all they can do, wave clear in their own base. Super minions being pushed in 3 lanes. They will pick up gold. That hasn't stopped the gold lead from staying the same or slightly increasing in the past 5 minutes or so.
All right, so let's pretend Kongdoo is listening into us, which would be severe rules for getting disqualified from the tournament. But let's say that they're listening in right now. What do they need to do going into Game 2 to ensure that this doesn't happen? The rest of the team is zipping their way over to keep them covered.
We'll have a week off coming up, the next match week. Couldn't come soon enough for Kongdoo Monster. They need it.
They desperately do. Oh, Dredgeline, big one, connecting in on the edge. They'll throw down the ultimate from the Nautilus. They lock him up with the slicing Maelstrom, but he's still able to make it back to the fountain with his life.
They're not focusing the Nexus here.
Roach goes forward, takes a big chunk of damage. He's going to be the first one to fall as Maha finishes him off with that piercing arrow. The Nexus down to half HP. Dredgeline not going to connect, but it doesn't even matter. There we go. 38.5 minutes MVP. Bit slower than they would have liked, but able to put a win on the boards. Halt their loss streak that they had going for them, and that's just going to further extend Kongdoo Monsters a bit more.